Good Monday makers. In this week's episode, we're looking at two garden trellises, a kayak storage build, a kayak cast bar, a deck canopy, and a weed eater rack that holds a weed eater on top of a riding lawnmower. Some really great builds and interesting things to check out. Let's take a look. First up is this build from Axel, and this is a standing cast bar. He has a full video on all the parts you need, as well as in the description, he's linked everything that you need. And it's just a great build and a great video from Axel. If you're into kayak and kayaks and kayak fishing, definitely check out his YouTube channel. It'll be linked down below. But he basically goes through and breaks down this whole build of him assembling and building this cast bar for his kayak. And we can see here it is attached to this kayak here. It looks like there's a mounting system. I think it's already attached to the boat, and he's got some flanges that are designed to kind of lock in the channel there for this kayak. And from there, he's added to a vertical on each side, and then he's got some angled pipe going down to another flange. And he said he's using adjustable angle Bimini connector that he already had. He said you could also use some of the maker pipe adjustable angles if you don't have any of those already. And then we can see at the very top, this is the actual bar that you grab onto. And he's just got two T connectors that, sends this pipe side to side. And then he's using some shrink wrap just to have something textured on the bar that you can grab onto, stand up, and just gives you some, something to grab onto and just help increase your balance while you're casting, while you're fishing on the kayak. So really great build. Definitely check out this video if you're interested in doing something similar. Really awesome, Axel. Thanks so much for sharing. Next up is a build from Jennifer, and she said that they made a sun sail shade support using maker pipe parts. They said that they were looking at different solutions, but because their deck sits 25 feet off the ground, as you can see here, they wanted to use metal pipe. And what they've done is drilled through the boards on the bottom of the deck, and the conduit basically just goes through those boards and then attaches to these beams here, probably using 2-hole straps or something like that. And then we can see that they've got 4 verticals, one in each corner, and then they're just using T connectors to kind of create the horizontal pipes all the way around the top. And they're also bracing with 45-degree connectors. And we can also see here that they said that they got some rain, and they weren't expecting it to be this crazy of a storm. It was supposed to be just something just coming through, some light rain. Or they said they might have taken the sail shade off if they would have known how bad it was going to get. They said there's 70-mile-an-hour winds coming through and a storm, as you can see here in this video. But what's really cool is the frame held up just fine, and the sail shade held up just fine. Wow. Sounds like it's really storming. I know we've been getting some crazy storms here lately, but really cool to see that the build held up, and it's just a really great example of a deck canopy and a great technique. Said that they had this stand that fell over, and you can see there's a lot of water built up. I think they got 1.5 inches of rain. So yeah, big storm came through, but the maker pipe and the conduit and the sail shade all held up, which is really awesome. Thanks so much, Jennifer, for sharing that in the maker pipe community on Facebook. Really love seeing it. Next up is a trellis design from Jolly Gardens, and we can see here, this is kind of an update after a few weeks. We can see that tomatoes are really loving it. They're grabbing onto the pipes and the net there, and it's doing really awesome. And they actually did a video on YouTube. Their YouTube channel is Jolly Gardens. It'll be linked down below. They did a full tutorial on how to build this trellis system for a raised bed. And you can see with the mini model here, they've got 4 90-degree connectors, 2 in this corner, 2 in the opposite corner, and they've got the 4-way connector here in the middle. And this just adds the vertical support pipe. And, you can basically do this every few feet. If you wanted, this could technically be kind of a universal trellis based on the size of your rectangular bed. You can make it as long or as short as you wanted, and you can just use this technique. If you had something that was twice as long, you could just add another section and basically use 2 more 4-way connectors to kind of increase the overall length and just keep going with the same design and keep going with the trellis. So really great build. Definitely check out their video if you're interested in building this same design. They include a list of materials and all the parts they used and the connectors and everything like that. And they also have a great video that just showcases everything, including how to attach it to the bed, how to cut conduit, and the end caps, and all kinds of different things. So again, definitely check out their Instagram and their YouTube channel. Both of them will be linked down below. Thanks, guys, for posting that. Really awesome to see. Next up is another kayak build, and this is from Mike. It's actually 2 builds. It looks like he was reinforcing this cast bar, very similar to one we looked at with Axel. I think he already had this one attached here. We can see there's like 2 flanges on the boat already, and this pipe goes up and basically is arched here at the top. And then we can see the maker pipe is actually 2 connectors here that are actually 4 connectors, or no, it is 2. there's a 45-degree connector that basically sends a pipe down to this other flange and just adds some support, just a nice brace for that casting bar. And if you can't find the bimini connector that has that angled support, you can use the maker pipe and attach to it. So that's a really great cast bar reinforcement. And also, Mike shared this storage build that he's got here in the back. We can see that he's got two mounts that utilize this grab bar. I imagine this is to make it easy to pick up, as you're moving the skiff around. And it looks like he's got conduit going up from those and kind of arched here. And then he's got T connectors and sending a pipe from side to side. He's got one here in the back, and then the T connector is also grabbing onto this bar. And then up here again, he's got flanges that are made for the skiff, and that's what he's using to attach these verticals here. And then he's got some items to help with the storage here. We can see some fishing rod holders. Looks like they're clamped onto the conduit, so that's really cool. And he's also got looks like some wood paneling here that is attached to the frame to kind of make a looks like a tray of some sort, maybe to set different things down there. He's also got a milk crate that he drilled through and then ran a pipe through it, and this creates a really great storage build. Just a really great storage basket that's secured by the pipe running through it. And you can also hinge this, I would imagine. You can just grab the handle on the milk crate and rotate it around. So that's a really, really good idea. Milk crates are super inexpensive. You can find them on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or you might already have a bunch. And I think it's a great thing to incorporate in builds like this and really any storage build. So that's really awesome, Mike. Thanks so much for sharing that. Really love seeing it. Next up is a build from Don. He shared this through email. And this is a rack that allows him to hold his weed eater while he's on his riding lawnmower. So if you have a riding lawnmower, you know the struggle and how frustrating and time consuming it can be to either ride around and then have the weed eater in your lap, just going across, or maybe you're trying to hold it with one hand, but it can be frustrating. Or you can leave it in the garage or wherever, and then maybe if you're out there in the yard and you finish, and you got to run and grab the weed eater, then run back, then go to the next spot. But this allows him to basically have the weed eater on the lawnmower as he's riding around, and he just basically built a framework that attaches to the bottom, kind of where your foot rests on the mower here, but it doesn't interfere with the pedals. We can see it looks like he's using one hole straps to secure the frame there on the bottom. It just goes up. He's got this rectangle that goes up to these 45-degree connectors, and then he just kind of creates the same design on the other side, and basically makes this base for the mount. And then from there, he's just got vertical pipes, just really short pieces going up just a tiny bit, and it has an angled pipe coming off of it using a 45-degree connector. And basically, he just created this rest that he can just kind of set the weed eater down in. Doesn't necessarily secure it in place, but you don't really need that. It's just something to kind of give it a home while you're riding around and just keep it steady and keep it still there. And then the same thing in the front, he used a flange connector, had a vertical support pipe. Then he used the 45-degree connector here to kind of do that same thing, which allows the long weed eater, the main part of the weed eater, just kind of rest down there in that little valley that's created with the 45-degree connector. Great build from Don. Thanks so much for sharing that. Next up is another trellis build, and this one is from Zach. Really awesome. You can see here it's a very similar design that we looked at with the Jolly Gardens, where it's got 90-degree connectors in the corners and then four-way connectors every few feet, just to add that horizontal brace from side to side, as well as a vertical brace here. And then we can also see that they actually bent some conduit and created arches over the top. And I think I see some of the off-the-shelf couplings you can get. So they've got this vertical post here, and then they've got the bent pipe that goes all the way around the top and just creates a nice arched roof there. And then they've got, looks like four-way connectors again here every couple feet. And then down here, they've got 180s, which is the same as a four-way, except it doesn't have the pipe that goes from side to side. It basically just allows the vertical pipe they've got here and then allows them to keep going with the run. And then they did the same thing here with the 180, except this time it's going across instead of up. So really great techniques incorporated into this. And you also use cattle panels, which is a great trellis material. It's really strong. You can buy just a large cattle panel and attach it to the frame using zip ties or some other methods. And he just bent that kind of to match the bent semicircle shape of the arch at the top of the trellis. And this just gives the plant something to grab onto. And you can also hang rope off of it, as he did here, every couple of feet, and just gives quite a few different places that the tomatoes and other plants can grab onto. So it's just a really great trellis design. And something to point out here, we saw with the Jolly Gardens, theirs was more, it was attached to the frame using two-hole straps. Zach did a little bit differently, where he just, I don't know if this is basically freestanding, but we can see here that basically the top design or the top connectors are also mirrored down low. And this creates a pipe that sits flush on the wood paneling going around. And you can use two-hole straps or one-hole straps for different things to secure it, or you could just kind of notch into the wood and the pipes can just go down into the wood or even in the soil in the bed there. I'm not entirely sure how he attached it, if that's how he did it or not, but either way, it's a really great build and a great technique for somebody looking to do a trellis design that incorporates an arch and all kinds of different trellis netting. That's all the builds I have for you this week. Thanks everybody for posting your ideas and builds. We love seeing them. We love doing these episodes. Thanks everybody for watching and have a happy 4th of July. Stay safe and we'll see you in the next video.